where we are bringing people after they're born. Would that count?
Would it count? Well, yes. I mean, certainly there's nothing that says that children have to be born on Mars. If the idea is that we're going to create a self-sustaining settlement, right? A branch of humanity that exists on Mars and doesn't depend on Earth, then of course we would need to have, reproduction, right? You need to have children there. If that's not the goal, if the goal is just to be able to, have people that are working there, that are, doing science there, that are engaged in industry there, then that doesn't necessarily require children at all. No. And so in that scenario, you may want to really avoid having children being born there because it may be, as I was saying, so dangerous for them, and it may be setting them up for not being able to easily come back to Earth. So it's really only if you're talking about the idea of having a true settlement on Mars or anywhere that I would say that we would want to sort of go down that route of actually having children and seeing what happens to them.
And how important do you think it is that we truly have that settlement?
Well, there's a lot of different motivations that people have cited for this. To me, the one that really resonates is that it may really affect our long-term chances of survival, right? So if you sort of play out, history over the long run, if we look back at history, we can see that there have been, major mass extinction events in the history of Earth, and a few times when all of life on Earth was nearly wiped out. 250 million years ago was the greatest mass extinction event in Earth's history, and it nearly sterilized the planet. We still don't know quite what was the cause of that. There's some different ideas. We do know that the most recent mass extinction event, 66 million years ago, was caused by an asteroid impact, or at least an asteroid impact was a part of that. Those kinds of things will happen again at some point. It's not a matter of if. That at some point a large asteroid will come into the vicinity of Earth again. If we know it's coming, maybe we can stop it. There's work to try to develop the technology that would be needed to do that. But there's no guarantee that we would be successful. So if we want to really ensure our long-term survival, one of the best ways would be to hedge by having people not just on one planet, right? That would increase our chances of making it in the long run.
Yeah. What alternatives have you heard besides colonizing Mars for that strategy?
Well, I mean, the other thing is to try to prevent any of those disasters, right? Mm-hmm. So, in the idea of like an asteroid impact, we recently had a mission where a probe was sent to an asteroid and actually deflected it, right? So moved it a significant amount. And this was not an asteroid that was headed towards Earth, but the same concept could apply to an asteroid that was headed towards Earth. And so, if we have that ability, first of all, we have to know it's coming, and then we have to, be able to actually reach it and move it out of the way. So that's a possibility. But there's, that's only one of the scenarios for what could threaten our existence on Earth. Another is a supervolcano eruption. This hasn't happened basically since humans have been alive. And so, we don't really have any concept of how catastrophic that would be. That's not the kind of thing we really have any way of stopping. We don't even have that much of an ability to predict when volcanoes are going to erupt. We know kind of that they're becoming more active, but, that's the kind of thing that would be really hard to stop if we even knew that it was coming.